Hi guys, it's Salem here from Root to Tip, and I'm launching an amazing campaign called Change Your Hair Story this year, and we are talking to our amazing customer family and getting to know their Change Your Hair stories as part of our campaign. Our first amazing family is Mike, Tilly and Liz. We met over 7 years ago, and we're going to hear their journey of hair education, a few struggles and what they really learned in discovering how to manage the beautiful Tilly's hair right from the beginning. So Liz, hello.
Hi.
Tilly, how are you guys?
Good, thank you.
I can't believe it's been 7 years since you first met at Curl Camp and you've come such a long way. But Liz, please take me through the beginning. How did it all begin for you guys with Tilly? How was it?
Well, I think when Tilly was first born, as a white mum with a mixed race daughter,
Yes.
the hair came out black, thick straight away,
Yeah.
and I was thinking, right, okay, we've got a challenge on our hands here, and it's hair that obviously I'm not familiar with, but it was very different as a baby, and I thought, oh, okay, we're not quite sure where this is going to go, how it's going to turn out, but through the months and the years, it started changing and growing, and it was amazing and beautiful. And started off being sort of loose curls with less texture.
Okay.
And so, I kind of thought I was coping, and at the time I had a lovely Nigerian friend, and I was always asking her questions constantly.
That's the best thing
what
to
do
do.
I do about this? And what products do you use? And so always sort of going to her for advice. And there came a point, I think it was when Tilly was about to start primary school, that I thought, I really need to find my own way and kind of learn how to.
Was that about 4 years old? She was like 4,
so she would have been about 4 years old, and I really started to grapple then with thinking, my knowledge needs to improve, and my care for Tilly's hair and everything. And they were talking about having to have her hair up all the time and having to do that. Yeah.
Right, okay.
One of the big concerns was mix.
Yes.
And put the hair up. And that's when we started looking independently, and I think it was my husband sort of found somebody through work recommended they'd seen a curl camp. So we looked it up and was like, it was this weekend, okay, we've got to get down there, it's in London, it's a bit of a trek, but we've got to make it happen, we really need to do something, it's all about hair stories. So I met you guys.
Okay.
And I remember beforehand just thinking, I need to get a one-to-one with this lady because she's really going to help me. And you did, and that's when we came across these products, and they really helped.
Something you said earlier, you said that when Tilly was a baby, the hair is normally quite straight, and black and mixed with babies, the hair is normally quite straight, but the shocking thing is for most people is it starts to change from about 6 months onwards, and you never know what you're going to get.
No, exactly.
They call it the baby perm, is that the hair is naturally straight, but it can be quite a daunting thing sometimes for parents knowing, okay, now the hair's straight, now it's curly, what do I now do?
Exactly.
What did you first do in the beginning when you had a baby hair? Did you use any products, or was it just like shampoo?
It was just really basic, just kind of baby shampoo, and not much more than that really. I tried to just keep it really kind of natural.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. And when she was a toddler, what did you use then? What sort of products were you using?
Well, I kind of went for what was being advertised and the things that you saw in the media in good faith, thinking, okay, I'm seeing Cantu products, I don't know if I can say that, but they're out there and they're on
Cantu's everywhere.
shelves, it's easy to get hold of.
Absolutely.
And it looks like it's the right thing. But I think, so I did use Cantu products for a while and tried the sort of co-wash process. I started reading more about the curly girl method and all of that kind of thing. And I started exploring my own hair. Okay. Because I'd always straightened
it. A bit curly, right?
Yeah, naturally wavy, but always just straightened it because I didn't know how to handle it. Right. And I didn't want Tilly to see me straightening my hair. Yes. Because I thought, well, this is the wrong message to be giving her. I need to be embracing my hair just as I want her to embrace hers and doing the right thing. So it took me on a journey.
That's so special. Well. That's amazing to hear that from you as well. It took you on a journey also. I think a lot of parents who have straight hair, they do have that massive kind of learning journey. And even those who have straightened hair which they relax. So I meet a lot of parents who have naturally Afro curly hair but they straighten their hair. When they have a daughter, they then go on a journey, as you said, to discover what their natural hair is like. So that's a beautiful thing to hear. Yeah. But you've come forward 4 years old at Curl Camp. What was one of the main things you got from Curl Camp at that time?
I think that I wasn't the only mother struggling. Not just white mother, but black different backgrounds. And it kind of gave me comfort that this isn't something I should worry or be ashamed about. I don't know what I'm doing, because there are lots of other parents struggling too. And I had the support of my husband as well, because he wanted to come on this journey with us as well, and was just as keen. We all came together. So then I think having the conversations with other mothers, but also watching some of your demonstrations. One of my big issues at the time was detangling. My goodness, how do I keep control of this hair?
I call it, well, I've heard so many mums say to me, it can be an absolute nightmare trying to tangle hair sometimes. If the hair's quite knotty anyway, and you wash the hair, that hair becomes matted. My goodness.
We had that problem several times.
And
not understanding why. You feel like you're following all the processes and doing the right things, and then you do it on your child's hair and you get this matted mess,
complete lock,
web. And it's that panic that sets in.
It's
what am I going
anxiety,
to
isn't
do?
it?
I feel like I'm going to have to shave it all off and start again, but that's not. Honestly, Tilly.
Some people actually, I met a lady, a lovely girl, a couple of years ago in Brighton, and her hair was matted, and mum had to keep on cutting it down because mum was white and dad was black, but her daughter's hair was so thick, Afro textured hair, beautiful hair, but she didn't know what to do. So she had to keep on cutting it down because trying to untangle it, and if you don't untangle it as you go along, it just webs and mats together and becomes locks. And it's very traumatic for the child and for the parents, who have had so many anxiety-ridden parents.
Exactly. Well, I think as well, when you have issues with your hair, I would go to a hairdresser and say, help, what do I do? And then you get the advice and the products and whatever you need there. I was taking Tilly to my hairdressers who'd got no experience of working with Tilly's type of hair. And as much as they wanted to help, she'd come with me to begin with to get her first cuts and what have you. But as I said, very different hair there. I remember going there where Tilly's hair had got really severely matted. And I panicked and I went there for help. And they couldn't even really help me. They helped me as best they could, and then said, I'm going to have to say you need to start seeing a specialist hairdresser, because this is beyond my knowledge. Living where we live, not being in London, being out in the sticks, the access to knowledgeable hairdressers for Tilly's hair type, very limited. So we were driving for over an hour to go somewhere, which again was more Caucasian curly hair rather than Afro. And again,
it's not the same. It's very different, because our hair it coils up and kinks up so much so. And scientifically, even though the hair structure is made of the same kind of material, it's keratin, like nails, but the way the hair coils, it naturally gets very dry as well. So if you're comparing European curly hair to Afro mixed race curly hair textures, it's very dry old hair, inherently dry from the time it falls on the scalp. So if you haven't got the right hydration in the products to begin with, it's dry and drier. So I feel for you guys.
But I think one of the techniques you showed at Pearl Camp was how to take a knot, how to do finger detangle. And I remember that, and that is something that stays with us now, is the finger detangling. If she gets a mat in her hair now, don't worry. I can be calm. I can take some honeycomb juice, spray it on, and know that I can gradually work through it, and we have untangled hair.
That's amazing to hear, and it makes me so emotional, because so many parents have actually chopped off hair for not having the right product and the right technique. And like you said, those two things, it's like it says in the Bible, if you give a man a fish, teach a man to fish, he'll feed many. But if you teach a mum how to detangle, it's a game changer for the children. Absolutely a game changer for the children. So for me, detangling is one of the biggest things we do with our parents.
It's such a skill to learn, and also with because we do use fingers mainly, but we do put a comb to it, but the pick and drop.
All the words.
Check me out. I don't
You're fantastic. I love that.
But we used to, you'd go from the top before,
and you're like,
gosh, and you'd rip it, and it's just. But no, the pick and drop method, and now Tilly's washing her own hair.
Wow,
and
Tilly.
detangling in the shower. And she does most of it. She does all the pulling it apart, and it's all great. But sometimes then she gets tired and frustrated. So I can see she grabs the brush and just starts yanking it.
You know what? And I think it's nice to get rid of fresh. Now she's older as well. You've done a lot of the caretaking yourself. Now she's older. It's now time for her to learn more skills herself.
Yeah.
And that's the next part I can't talk
Yeah.
about another time, but a
Okay.
bit later. But it really is about you getting to learn the right techniques to manage your hair as you go into high school, because high school is a whole other thing.
Yeah.
And my story is kind of like, when I had mine, she was kind of like, she was born with 6 food allergies, really bad eczema, and I couldn't find anything natural to make or to use on her hair and scalp. And I created the products for her about 17 years ago now, so I've been using this period of time. But I really wanted her to have healthy, long Afro hair, because I rarely saw many black children with really long hair, and I kind of wanted her to have hair confidence.
Yeah.
And now she's just turned 19, it's kind of like I see her, she's very confident with her hair, she loves her hair now, she teaches about hair on TikTok, she gets millions of views. Yeah, she gets millions of views, and just having the confidence as a black or mixed race child, young woman or girl, in your hair is such a magical thing for you.
Yeah.
It's so important. People underestimate the importance of understanding hair education, looking after the hair, how to detangle, how to wash, how to get knots out. There's basic things that are so critical for a young girl who has Afro or curly hair.
And I think that's the gift that I really wanted to give Tilly, is, you know, we can get her to a stage with her hair to help her grow it, help her know how to handle it. And then here it is, it's your hair now, do what you want to do with it.
I love that.
I feel like we're not quite there, but we're
getting there.
And that's where I think we kind of need the extra bit to get us over that hurdle when she starts secondary school.
Well, we're going to help you with that. We've got a program coming up exactly for girls before they get to high school. We're launching a program which parents will hopefully into and help the girls to really understand how to do their hair. Because high school brings up a whole another level. GHD the other day.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what that one was advising, but even just learning how to stretch blow dry is a magical thing for Tilly. I think having hair that's stretched sometimes is easier to manage.
We have tried that a couple of times, haven't we? But it's then making sure I know what products to put on it, either to protect it before I blow dry it, or to keep it in that style a little bit longer. What to do after.
In that state. So have you had any kind of, not really horror stories, but hair mishaps you can remember along the way, one of the worst ones?
Yes. We got to a stage at one point where I thought I can't handle her hair anymore. And I think it was when we came out of lockdown actually, and we'd lost our way with the journey a little bit. And I can't remember whether I tried to get some products online and they were out of stock. And I thought, so you end up going and grabbing what you can, doing the best you can with what you've got. And we ended up finding a recommended hairdresser, but it was from a black family whose child was going there and getting extensions. And, you know, not necessarily the kind of hairdresser that we would have chosen, but in amongst the poor selection we have around our way, it was the best that we got. So we started going there, and she was, you didn't enjoy it, did you? I mean, Tilly would sit in that chair for like 10 hours.
Really?
You know, for the wash, the detangle, the restyle. And we used to get sort of full heads of braids. And sometimes twists. And I remember we went, before we went on holiday, because we were, you know, I didn't want to be dealing with Tilly's hair necessarily when we were in and out of pools. And I remember the first day she went, and I was like, it's fine, just do what you want to do, you're a child, you want to swim, you know, I'm not going to say don't go under, don't get your hair wet, just do what you need to do. But the first day she came out of the pool, my goodness, those braids had turned into dreadlocks. Literally, they just matted. And I spent the whole of the next like 10, 14 days, however long we were away, looking at her hair thinking, I can't do anything with it, I don't know what to do, I don't have what I need. Panic.
And people that understand that when you haven't dealt with that kind of hair, even the parents who have had that kind of hair, who have their hair relaxed, you don't know what to do.
No.
You genuinely do not. And I mean, I've met hundreds of parents all across Europe too, in the same boat as you guys. And you really just don't know, you haven't been taught. This is why hair education for me is such an important thing. I think you emailed me actually, didn't you?
Oh, sure I did. I always reach out to you,
Sal. And you had notes and things, and you always enthusiastic workshops too. But I think, how did you manage it? What happened in the end?
Gosh, I think we ended up having a terrible session back at the hairdressers, didn't we? Trying to get it all out and
was it quite painful
again. And I think it was that point where we were like, we can't keep doing this. We need to get control back again. I need to start managing it at home again. Reach out to you guys and start with the process.
And that's when you came to, I think you came to one of my workshops, right?
Yes.
And Kevin was showing you guys how to do twists as well. After that, it was like, you guys were sailing. I got loads of updates, and you were doing amazingly until you did the first wash.
We haven't been back to a hairdresser since then.
I love that.
Like two and a bit years.
That's fantastic.
It would, honestly, since then, I think it's been a drastic change.
Wow.
For us.
That is brilliant.
Yeah, and I even trim at home now. I don't
Wow.
even take her anywhere. I mean, it does need a trim, so don't judge me.
No, Liz. I'm so proud of you. You've done so well. It's hence why I wanted to have you on because you've done so well. For being someone who doesn't live in London anyway, haven't got any hairstylists around you who know how to manage Afro and curly hair, and you really have taken the reins and you've really got your grips. It's still a learning curve.
I still always have for everyone to go,
and that's across the board.
I feel like more of a hairdresser than I've ever felt. But
you can go. You are. You're a pro now. I think you're a pro now. I think. As you said before, it's a gift that you give to Tilly.
Yeah, exactly.
And I spoke about that at Curl Camp. It's a gift you give to your child if you can hand over that amazing healthy hair when they get to say 11, 12, 13, and then they don't know what to do with it themselves.
Yeah.
But you've had a fantastic story. How did you find your hair, Tilly? What's your favourite thing about your hair now? What do you think? Do you like it?
Yeah.
You do like it? Good.
She gets so many compliments.
Really?
If ever she goes to school with a new hairstyle because I've been brave, tried something different.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And I've heard some of the mums say, my daughter comes out of school and goes, have you seen Tilly, how cool Tilly's hair is today? Like, thanks for that. What am I Can I have hair like Tilly's?
You might have to start hairdressing with Liz. You might have to start. But I think it's amazing that she just embraced having her hair. And you've done such a magical thing with actually understanding how to manage it, the care, the styling, braids, twists. And your styling is really amazing. I've seen the updated pictures and her hair looks beautiful. The banding as well, you've done banding as well.
Yes, we do a lot of banding.
Which is fantastic. And the hair has grown so much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so long now.
Yeah.
When you first came along, Afro, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Afro, now it's way down past her shoulders, which is amazing. And that's what hair education is about and our campaigns, really is to get people to understand how to care for their children's hair, or parents, how to care for their children's hair. And we have a unique kind of framework, like you spoke about the pick and drop, our detangling method, how to get knots out. It's a framework I developed over 15 years ago for my own daughter, and it grew her hair to waist at the age of 5. And I think that it doesn't matter how your hair is textured or what sort of hair texture you have, once you have that framework, follow the blueprint, use the right products in the right way, you can have beautiful, healthy hair. And that is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
You know, you definitely have changed Tilly's hair story, and I think in about 5 years' time, when she's about 16 and doing her own thing as a teenager, she'll look back and say, Mum, thank you so much. She will thank you because it's such a brave thing you've done as well. You know, she's embracing it wholeheartedly. And I wanted to hear from your husband actually, just briefly find out what he thought about the hair and his experiences.
Shall we bring him over?
Yeah, I think we should. So here we are with Liz's husband, Mike, and Tilly. I want to hear from a dad's perspective, what has it been like managing your beautiful daughter's hair?
Well, it's been a challenge.
Yes.
I think Liz has taken the lead and sort of taken on this role of Tilly's kind of hair specialist, looking after her hair. And my role, if it's not helping with detangling or helping with a wash, it's just being there to support. So it could be making dinner, it could be bringing water for Tilly while she's having her hair done, anything like that. It's just kind of a support role. And yeah, kind of listening out for advice, listening out for kind of contacts. And as Liz said, that was kind of our introduction into Curl Camp. People at work around, not just our challenges, but the fact that we were kind of, you know, I'd go into work on a Monday and say, I just spent 6 hours with Liz detangling Tilly's hair on Sunday. And then that starts conversations.
Right,
and actually that's how we kind of got the introduction through a colleague to Curl Camp.
That's fantastic. And I think it's really important that men take an interest too in the fact that you are. That's so positive for Tilly, because at some point, you know, you might have, I don't know, at some point she'll be older and might say, Dad, can you help me blow dry my, and you know what to do.
Yeah.
You can help her to untangle and things like that. So I think it's really important. Have you had any funny stories with around tangling or anything like that, or any challenges?
No, I think it's just, you know, it's the time thing. And we have it's a bit of a running joke in our house, is the saying that we have is, that took longer than expected.
Okay.
And of all the things we do, Tilly's hair, when we do Tilly's hair, it's always, that took longer than expected. And over time, I think that's the one thing that I've been, oh goodness, we've got to give up a Sunday to do hair because of the techniques now that we've got. We can say, well, actually, it's going to be something to do after tea on a Sunday, rather than a whole
taking the whole day.
Yeah,
it's just a part of the day.
And it used to have such a big impact on our lives because you're having to commit a day of a weekend, and when we're all working and busy at school, that can be quite demoralising. That amount of time.
I know that pain because I've got 2 boys with long hair, and I'm thinking I haven't even done their hair for about, it sounds awful, about 7 weeks. It's been in twist for it. I wash it. It's in twist. I haven't had time to even sit down to tangle it.
Yeah.
You know, so I know exactly what you're talking about. It is a lot of time you have to commit.
In a chair for 8 hours, and how do we entertain a chair for 8 hours?
Yeah,
and
that's torture.
how do we feed, and all, you know, it's all those things you have to think. It becomes quite stressful.
Absolutely.
Whereas at home, a couple of hours, put to.
Actually doing it all by herself, and it's getting her to that next phase, I think, is the next step in the journey. So you come from discovery, learning, applying techniques you've learned, using the right products, and the next phase then is just you learning Tilly how to do your hair yourself as you become a teenager, which is going to be a whole...
I can't wait for the day that Tilly comes downstairs with her own style. It's like she's disappeared for an hour and I'm just doing my hair.
It's definitely coming.
And she comes down, it's so good
to hear, but thank you so much for being a great supporting role to Tilly and to Liz, and just being involved really. I think it's really important that hair is such an emotional thing. For so many people, we lose it, we have it, we don't have it, and just people don't realise that it's such a big part of an identity of a young girl, especially when you're a mixed race child or a black child in an environment where you haven't got many people who are like you. To have an understanding about the hair is so important as a family. I think it's brilliant. You guys have done just an amazing job, so you should be proud of yourselves. Really proud of yourselves. Thank you. Have you got anything to add? What's your favourite hairstyle, Tilly? Do you know? Do you like banding? Do you like twists? What's your favourite hairstyle? Bunches. Okay, bunches.
Like space buns as well, don't we? We've got all different names.
I've seen your space buns, I've seen your twist, I've seen your banding, which looked beautiful with your summer dress on for school. That was amazing. Mum done some really great styles. What's your favourite hair product in the range? Do you like the honey ranges? Honey ranges, yeah.
That's one we use quite a lot, don't we?
So how do you use the product? So you guys normally use it on a daily basis. How do you use honey ranges?
I'll have to bring the expert.
Let's get Liz back in, yeah. Okay, so I'm back now with the hair expert in the house. That's Liz, Mum Liz. I want to talk about the products now, how you use them and how they've actually changed the way you manage Tilly's hair.
Yeah, so I mean, honey rain juice is our number one go-to. Any kind of hair emergency, we reach for the honey rain juice. The detangling in particular is a must. I couldn't live without that now as part of our routine.
Thank you. We hear that all the time.
Yeah. So I think when she was younger, generally our routine was that it's the sandwich method.
Yes,
so we would have we'd do the co-wash, come out of the shower, and then we would sit down and we would do honey rain juice to finish with any detangling that was left there, which, to be honest, when she was younger was quite a lot. Then we would move on to the Heaven's Hair Milk.
Okay, brilliant.
And then we would put in the Sunlight Curl Cream.
Oh, fantastic.
So we would do the full sandwich method.
Right.
It's changed now as she's got older. And I tend to use the honey rain juice more as rehydration for the day. So if she's got it in a style, in the morning before school, I'll try and give it a spritz and just a refresh, just put it through any braids or plats. And I might, sometimes if she's got like a tighter band at the top, I would just reposition that for her, just to keep it a bit neater and hydrated. If in between washes we just want to do like a restyle, again, I'll take everything out, use the honey rain juice as a base. And then do the sandwich method. But we have tended to, if we come out of the shower now, to keep the moisture in after she's done either a full wash or a co-wash, we use the hair shake.
Hair shake's brilliant.
So we put the hair shake in and it keeps the moisture in, and we tend to use that as a leave-in.
That's brilliant. It's a fantastic leave-in.
And we will style just off that. And if we're going through, again, I'll reach for honey rain juice if I need to get any detangles, but otherwise then I'll just put a bit more shake in just to keep it hydrated while we're styling.
You are fantastic. You guys just blow me away. You're fantastic with the method. She's an absolute pro. I'm sending people to you now. But that's brilliant. I'm just so happy that the products that I created years ago for my daughter have helped so many children. And I think it's just, they're not too heavy, they're not too greasy. And the unique thing about them is, it doesn't matter what your hair texture is, whether it's very tight curls and
feel that like it's moisturised enough, or do we need to add? And Tilly will be saying, "Oh, can you give me some more co-wash or something?" as she's in the shower. So she's getting that understanding.
That's fantastic.
And we squish as well, don't we, when we're showering? And we try and just constantly. And if she's sort of getting any moisture out, I'll say, "Can you just squish it in rather than squeezing it out?" And so we're just familiarising ourselves every time we touch the hair with how does it feel, what does it need. We found water as well, haven't we, to be a massive friend of ours.
Friend, as you said it.
And we didn't know that. I think we went through a phase of she'd get in the shower, she'd wet it, and she'd go through the process, and at the end I was thinking, it just still doesn't feel like it's a freshly washed head of hair. And then we just started running the water through it for like 5 minutes before we added any product.
Yes.
And it made such a big difference.
Absolutely, water really hydrates.
Yeah, and I think it may have been one of your videos that mentioned that, and I just thought, I'll do that next time and just see what a difference it makes. So we're always tweaking and changing.
Absolutely, you learn new things all the time. Every
Yeah.
year you can learn something new. And also, I remember you sent me a picture, I found it so funny. And you had, I think I mentioned to you about steaming.
Yes.
The facial steamer.
Yes.
And you had Tilly's whole hair flopped in the steamer. I thought, look at that, it's brilliant.
And I think she was eating a salad
eating a
at the
salad.
time, wasn't she? She was like, yeah, it's hair day, here I am having my lunch. I've got a steamer on my head.
I just love that. It was so organic. You were just steaming and eating the salad at the same time.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big deal. It was just something you just embraced, you know. So I think that's amazing. But you guys have just done such a phenomenal job for Tilly, as I keep saying that. But I think as she gets into her teen years, that's when it's really going to be sort of evident, all the work, all the years running up to her teenage years, how it comes full circle. Like when I saw Heaven on the
That made me feel emotional.
Yeah, I was in tears watching the thinking, oh my gosh, she's come full circle because, you know, she'd had quite a tumultuous time at school with her hair, believe it or not, and just other girls who hadn't had the same sort of hair length as her kind of bullied her for her hair, and which was quite upsetting for me and for her. And she rarely wore her hair out of school hair, but she always had it in braids. One time she had her hair out and one of her friends saw her hair, and the next day she came in, she had like no friends left, which was awful. And I felt so bad for them, but I really felt bad for her, but I felt bad for them that they had not been given the chance to grow healthy long hair because their parents maybe didn't know what to do. These are black girls as well.
So it's a jealousy thing.
It was sort of a jealousy thing, which is quite really sad. I thought, you know what, hair education is so critical for our young girls, because anyone can grow long hair, healthy hair if you want to.
Yeah.
But just seeing Heaven on the red carpet with her own natural hair, she's like, Mum, she
Amazing.
loved it.
Yeah.
She was so confident, you know.
Yeah.
She was so confident, and her mentor is Warner Brothers. She just loved. She loves Heaven. Says Heaven looks beautiful.
Yeah, amazing.
And she rocked it, you know, like a full circle moment for me. So I think it's just, I loved seeing the results from parents. It's such a, if I'm having a grey day, when I get a picture, an update, it's like a rainbow just appears instantly for me. Because life can be so challenging at times, but just knowing that I'm doing this work and 7 years with you guys, I can't believe it's been so, where's the time gone?
I don't know. Well, like I said, she was starting primary school and now we're back to pack her off to secondary, so it just doesn't feel real.
It doesn't feel real, but you've had an amazing journey. I'm just so happy for you. So we're going to see next in some videos, Heaven Bro's going to come and show Tilly some techniques. You want to learn flexi roll, don't you? Flexi roll is quite something we wanted to see. And maybe, do you know how to do a bun in your hair, like a high bun?
Not really.
No,
we
tried
tried
that as well. Yeah, Heaven can show you that too. So when she comes along, Heaven will show you some more tips, and that'll just have more styling tips.
Yeah, that's what we
the
need.
next phase of the journey. More styling tips now. You've got to grips with the maintenance. Now it's about styling. So yeah, that should be exciting. But thank you so much, guys, for today. Thank you for coming down and sharing your story.
Well, thank you. We would like to thank you massively as well for the difference that you've made to our family. You know, and as my husband said earlier, if we hadn't found Curl Camp, you know, I don't know where we'd be right now. And you're always on tap. You're so good. You always answer my messages. And, you know, you're there when we reach out and we're in need. So we really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. I feel you guys are family to me now, so you're part of the family now. I want to see when she's a teenager what it's like for Tilly, because in 10 years' time she'll look at herself. And in 3 years it'll be 10 years.
I know.
That's daunting to me. I can't believe that. But I'm happy for you guys. I'm happy for Tilly, and onwards and upwards for the next phase. All I know is that she will be confident. She has her hair. It's healthy. You've laid the foundation now. Now it's time for her to build on that foundation, and that's what her education and Curl Camp is about. So thank you.